Hey, welcome to Mando and Friends, presented by Verizon. My name is Mando Fresco, and today we have personal trainer, motivator, activist of women's rights. We have a wonderful individual here, a creative, a content creator, one of the most viral fitness accounts that you can find on social media. The woman behind it. You like the intro? Massy Arias is in here. Massy, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Massy, I'm really excited to finally get in front of you. I got a funny story that I like to share. So the first time that I saw Massy, she didn't see me. We were at SoFi Stadium and you were doing the, what is it, like that, the horn thing?
Yeah.
You were there for a Chargers game. So I
Yes.
DJ at Chargers games. So I was about 20 feet away, but I was through like a big glass. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to get your attention and I'm like literally going like, and she was never going to see me because there's like thousands of people there. But like I'm over here like, and then later, like I shoot you a DM, and I'm like, "Hey, Massy, I was at SoFi Stadium. We didn't get to connect, but I love to connect with you. So,
I love it.
So that is where our story starts.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I'm in my own little world.
and
Sometimes I'm just thinking all the time. So I'm just walking through, I'm just walking out and I'm in my own little world.
now you're here, and you had this really awesome like blue suit. So you have good memory.
Yeah.
I'm
It wasn't
assuming-
a suit. It looked like a suit.
Oh, was it? It was like
It was workout clothes. They're so tight. They just look like a costume.
So you know what? It was like superhero-esque.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk. You know, I wanna go back to like when you first originally said I want to do fitness. When was that?
Fitness, wow. So we were talking about, before we started filming, it's 11 years later.
Wow.
Something that just fell on my lap. I didn't say, oh, I'm just going to do fitness. Fitness became part of my life in order to get out of depression. And fitness pretty much gave me the tools today for everything that you see today. So the person that I was 11 years ago,
Yeah.
it's not the person that I am today. So I had a lot of rebuilding to do, a lot of self-work to do, body dysmorphia, depression, not knowing where I was going to go.
Yeah.
I've been independent since I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And I came to the States when I was 13 from the Dominican. And maybe 3 years later, my father decides, I'm leaving. I'm leaving the United States. I need a break. I'm done. He had a couple of businesses, and it was really stressful to the point where he said, I'm going. And I said to them, to my parents, that is, my parents back home and my dad here in the States, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay. After all the bullying, after acclimating to a culture, after all, I'm not going back. So I stayed.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was their initial reaction to that?
I mean, we're talking about Latinx, right? We're talking about Latinos. Like, no parent wants to see their only daughter alone.
Yeah.
And I've been always super independent since I was very little. And they didn't want it. I emancipated legally.
Wow.
I've been a rebel. I was a rebel. Oh my God. My life completely transformed.
For those that don't know what emancipated is, do you mind breaking that down?
Well, legally, every state is going to be different in the States. So emancipation means I'm an adult, and you can do that when you're 17. So you're pretty much saying, I'm emancipated from my parents. I am graduating,
Right.
and I am out, and legally I am going to take care of myself.
Man, to do that, and for your parents to accept it, that must have been a wild time.
Like I've always been, like, for starters, when I came to the States, I was the one who got it to the Social Security office and got socials for my brothers and I. So I've always been super mature and responsible.
In the Mexican culture, we would say it is movida.
Yeah.
You're like always like on the go making moves.
Yeah. Soy Maribel, la de Encanto.
Yeah.
So pretty much
You just forgot your glasses.
I did.
Yeah.
Actually, I used to wear glasses. Not a lot of people know that. And I got LASIK.
LASIK. Oh, life changer right there.
Yep.
Oh, Fred got LASIK too?
Yeah. For free? Wow.
Yeah, he was in the Marine
Lucky
Corps.
him.
Yeah. Have you gotten LASIK, Marvin? Do you need it?
Hopefully you won't. Hopefully you won't. But yeah, I've been super independent, and I've been always getting amazing grades at school and avid reader, and my parents knew I was responsible.
That's
and
good.
they were okay. And I had a plan, and that plan went south when I ended up just undertaking a lot of responsibility that I shouldn't have at the age that I did. And when you're a teenager, if you understand how brain development of a teenager works, at that time, I'm not a teenager anymore. At that point, we think that we know it all. We have an inability to process information. So we act reckless. And up until the age of 25 is when our brains are completely developed and we're able to make rational decisions and able to see consequences later on.
Wow.
So I ended up just doing all the wrong things. Getting a job. I was going to school full time, getting a job while I was going to school, I've always been just adult-like.
Yeah.
And not having my parents, not having that solid family structure and continuing that. I wasn't born with money, but I was born in a household where my parents taught me gems, morals, hard work, doing the right thing, loving people, being kind. I already had a lot of those good values, but I ended up doing all the wrong things, dropping out of school, getting a full-time job, excelling at that job to the point that by 19, I was making more money than a teacher that graduated and spent X amount of years studying.
Yeah.
And, the love for independence and money, I got caught up in a really awful relationship. In that interim of me deciding what I wanted to do for school, I went a little bit ahead of the story. My brother developed Burkitt's lymphoma. It's a form of cancer. And he was told he was not going to make it.
Wow.
And I saw a miracle. I was 17. That's when I decided to emancipate. And my first year of college lived pretty much at Presbyterian Hospital on 165 right there.
Wow.
And I lived there for a year, pretty much going back and forth. That's when I had a job. I got a job at Aldo Accessories, my first job. And from there, 18 years old, trying to go to school full time, trying to work part time, being there for my family, just a lot of responsibility that I now, I could honestly say it's what made me who I am, resilient and relentless.
I feel like that is in us, the being resilient. And I was talking to a friend yesterday about how our parents were in survival mode pretty much their entire life, and how that's not really quite for most people of our here in the States, like first gen or second gen and so on, it's not quite the same as our parents had it. But it seems like for you, you were also in a sense like in survival mode by the age of 17.
Yeah, I mean, what people do not realize, especially this generation, we're living a generational curse. So for example, if you look at Dominican Republic, we were stripped. First and foremost, we're Venezuelans that settled in DR. So Venezuela and DR are pretty tied together.
Yeah.
They don't know it. We've forgotten our history. So think about indigenas, Taínos. We were considered Taínos.
Yeah.
And here comes European colonization, and they strip us from our resources, from everything that we had.
Yeah.
And now we're working to get what we once had. I mean, and we can look at every single culture, whether you're African American or a person of color. It's, yes, you are on survival mode because we don't have the same starting points than people who had one leg up.
Right.
Based on what? I mean, man, why do conversations with me always have to go deep? They always have to go deep. Now we're here like deep.
We are deep. Well, we're deep. We're already in it. We're already in it.
So if you look at the Dominican Republic, right? We were stripped from our resources. We were taught to hate each other. We were taught that black skin, that it wasn't, even colorism. Yeah. You can see how slavery has enabled colorism. And there's different parts of the world and cultures and countries, they have colorism. For sure. So when you look at just TV, what was our representation for Afro-Latinos or for people of color? Celia Cruz. Yeah. And then even now, what we're praising, we open our hands. And not necessarily I'm saying that we have to go back 100 years and people have to pay for what their ancestors did back then. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying that, but what you see is that we're just scratching the surface. And I am really lucky. Maybe I was born with those traits, or maybe it was a combination of innate traits and characteristics of my personality and the environment that I was put in that led me to try to scratch the surface. Because everything that has happened in my life, if you follow me for like 11 years, you've known that my life has not been very easy, but everything has served a purpose where, yes, I have to work harder, even in the industry. When I penetrated the fitness industry in America, mind you, if I don't open my mouth, you don't know where I'm from, depending on how I wear my hair. If it's straight, I'm going to look different. If it's curly now, I'm going to look different. If it's done in a different way, I will look different, right? So when I started the fitness industry, I was told, I'm not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You're not commercial. You don't have the look. And having to penetrate that market and do it not only for Latinos, for people of color, for people that look like me, for creatives, for people who were different. I mean, it's a combination of both, but I am telling you, we are blacks, browns. And when I say blacks and browns, I mean browns of all different cultures. We're just scratching the surface right now. Some harder than others, but we are.
Right. No, that's a beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's a beautiful thing that you're not just aware of it, but you talk about it and you represent it very well. I think representation is key in the industry that we're in, and you're a prime example of a beautiful example of that. Massy, I wanna you mentioned it's been 11 years. Take me back to when Massy Arias or Manco Fit
back then
had 0 followers. Who was Massy at that point?
It was so long ago. I've never changed, to be quite honest. I I think I just flow. And the same person that I was back then is the same person that I am today. It's just a more sophisticated and more intelligent through life. I mean, anyone who's in, like, say, if you're in your 20s, you've unlocked a level. If you're in your 30s, you've unlocked a level. If you're in your 40s, like, we all arrive at different levels. I'm just at a different level.
Yeah.
But who I am at core hasn't changed. I'm still the same hardworking person. I'm still the same responsible person. I'm still, that person that people come to for advice and to rely on, and that column that's pretty much there for everyone.
Yeah.
So I take my job really serious. I love what I do. It fell on my lap. I didn't look at fitness as a career. I actually wanted to be in forensic pathology.
Wow.
Because human behavior and just humans, the brain, I find humans just incredible. The way they think. I was obsessed with, like, criminal minds. My dad was in the military. My stepdad, still my dad, was in the military. And for some reason, it's just like, I don't know. It's just fascinating how people think. And I wanted to know, like, why did you commit that murder? How did this person die? A lot of people don't know this. And then I fell into retail, ended up doing visual merchandising. Like, anything that I do, I try to say. And throughout 11 years, I've just harbored many talents, because I don't think about, I can't do this. I won't be able to do this. I go and say, how did this person do it? And if they can, so can I.
Right.
And I've always been that way. So I was into everything that I'm into right now. It's just that fitness now became my career. And I remember, it's so incredible. And, like, people need to hear this because they need to believe it. And when I say I am that person, super positive, I think anyone and everyone has the capacity to achieve their goals and to achieve their objectives. It's just that some people will have a starting point that is not favorable, or they may not have the right resources, but they can create those resources little by little. So when I started, I literally started experimenting on myself because I needed to feel better. I have a lot of family in the medical field, and I just didn't want to be medicated. And when I fell through my depression, and maybe I didn't touch on this, not having the support of my mom, not having her close. There was things that I still needed to learn as a woman, still needed to see. And when you're alone as a teenager and growing as a young woman, you're highly impressionable.
Yeah.
So you're going to seek different paths. And I fell into a depression, and depression hit me in a different way, in a way that I didn't want to eat. My body was just eating itself, destroying itself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I started moving. I mean, I tried pretty much everything, like CBT, psychotherapy, anything that you can think of, besides being heavily medicated.
Yeah.
And just prescription medication. And I started just moving. And I'm just giving you a very surface level.
Yeah.
We only have the time that we have, but I literally started researching about brain chemistry. How can I get better? I started exercising. And I remember I grabbed this book that said that I needed to go out and get out and seek help. And when I found fitness, I was just doing cardio, literally, just to feel better and going to the gym. And I've always been an extroverted kind of person. So I started engaging, and I don't know what it is about people telling me that I can't do something, because it just ignites something in me. And I just fell in love with everything that I was feeling. And it wasn't until I started realizing like, wait a second, I just need to do something different because my body is just like, I'm really small and I felt weak mentally, physically. And I started weightlifting. And from there on, I mean, the journey has been insane. I started getting a following. I was literally just sharing genuinely, just like I do it today, my journey. And people just saw me just transforming, not just the body. My brand has never been about body transformation. It's been about everything else that comes with that body transformation, resilience, working on yourself, building a career, getting all these opportunities, putting myself out there, and just people just resonated with that and just continue to follow me. And I remember getting my first certification when people started asking me for advice. I'm like, why are you asking me for advice? I really need to hit the books. And I found myself at libraries consuming all this information, looking at all these magazines, being wowed by, oh my God, you can take your body from here to there, being that I'm Dominican and we're known for being voluptuous. And at that time, I had a lot of body dysmorphia. I looked at my body and I said, well, I don't look like these women.
Yeah.
And I got cheated on and belittled by not looking like this women. And it made me, it literally created this body dysmorphic disorder and all these things. And I started just researching. And once I got people's attention and like, what are you doing? I just didn't want to misinform anyone. And it's just fell on my lap. Then I started doing 101s and I didn't want to pay a gym. And mind you, listen to this, because this is where you have to be resourceful. I got a membership from Planet Fitness.
Okay.
$20.
Yep.
And I would jump on a train. I used to live in Brooklyn in Crescent. Remember that stop? Yep. That's the hood for people that do not know this. And I would jump on the train, go and train a client. Like I was training them like we're friends, like bring a friend. I would go to the locations in Brooklyn, then hop on, go to Manhattan, hop on, go to the Bronx, hop off, go to the second. It was just hopping. And I would wake up very early, 5 a.m, and come back home super late. And at that time, you know, like it was just hustling.
Were you going to
different locations Fitness? Until I got caught. And then I was banned. Caught. This is a really good story. Planet Fitness banned me.
How do you get caught?
Like, I got caught because you're not supposed to train people. Oh. So at some point, you know, I'm not going to be lifting with my clients with 5, 6 different clients that I have. I got tired.
Right.
And then you saw, you know, I was consistent at certain locations, and their trainers out there, they're like, wait a second, this girl is onto something. And I just got banned. Banned. I don't even know. It would be great just to contact them and say, am I still banned?
You know what? It's going to come full circle when they come knocking at your door and they want to do like a brand endorsement or like a partnership.
Who knows?
It happens.
Maybe this is it. Send me the clip so I can send it to Planet Fitness. It's a great place. It's a great place.
Planet Fitness, please reach out to Massy. And, you know, she won't even, she doesn't even need the pizza on Fridays.
You know what? No, I don't. It was Tuesday and Bagel Mondays.
Wait, what? I only know about Pizza Fridays.
Pizza Fridays? They changed to Friday?
Yeah, I thought it was like
pizza. That's healthy though.
Bagel Tuesday. So there's
Mondays.
Oh, bagel.
And Pizza Tuesdays. Back then. We're talking about like 11 years ago.
Got it.
They innovated this whole thing. Think about the psychology of it. Let me keep you coming. You're going to eat okay, I'm sorry, Planet Fitness.
Yo, but you know what?
Never mind. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
It comes full circle. That it happens like that. So something recently happened to me where I wasn't let into a certain place many years ago, and they invited me just recently to
who is that?
To enter this building
Now that you're putting me on the spot, who is it?
Well, I'll tell you after. I'll tell you after the camera's off. And it happens. Full circle.
Yes.
Things happen like that all the time. So, Planet Fitness, when they call, I want pizza on Fridays, Massy.
It's okay. It's okay. Maybe we'll just make better pizza for people. Huh? But right after they kicked me out, check this out, I went to Central Park. So I used to have group fitness classes.
Oh.
In not Planet Fitness. Okay,
Central
Planet
Park.
Fitness, Central Park. And one person would show up, sometimes 5, and it would be like $10 a pop. Just come, let's work out outside. And until it became so big, I got kicked out of Central Park. Not literally kicked out, but you needed a permit to have hundreds of people gathered together.
Wait, you had hundreds of people there?
Yeah, at some point I had like 300, 350.
Wow.
Yeah. All the events that we were holding, teams, colleagues of mine, we had all these people show up.
Wow.
And we needed a permit. And it's an insane amount to host.
Yeah, I'm sure. At Central Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit to when you were talking about like depression. So, we talk about that topic, mental health, here on the show very often. I think on every single show, we talk about the importance of mental health, not just physical health. For someone that is going through depression, what is some advice that you can give them?
Well, there's a lot of resources out there. I mean, I cannot speak or give advice because I'm not a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
But I can tell you what I went through.
Based on
Exactly.
Based on your experience.
And one of the things is to not, here's the thing about like mental health. Yes, we're talking about it, but if you think about our people, we don't want to talk about this. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how Encanto brought up the topic of trauma, literally. And everyone, I yet have to have a conversation with someone who didn't have someone to relate to in Encanto, right? And we don't want to talk about it. No, te van a decir que eres loca. No, you're crazy. No, don't talk about it.
We don't talk about mental health.
Yeah, we don't talk about mental health.
Right.
And I feel like as adults, we all experience periods of sadness, anxiety, and now you're seeing it even more because of the demands, technology. It's so crazy, and we're literally creating an environment where people will have more and more anxiety and depression. I mean, not too long ago, we've known of Miss Universe. I mean, not Miss Universe, USA.
Right. Yes.
Right.
She in New York. She.
And then Regina King's son, who just committed suicide. So this is real. And what are we doing about it? What are creators doing about it? What are people who are in positions where they get seen a lot? What are we doing about it?
What do you think we can do more of?
Well, being real, being more honest, being more accepting of someone going through a hard time, watching what you say to people, observing more, being less judgmental. There's a book that I really love, and made into a book, but it was a oh Jesus, I can't even say that word. A speech by Matthew David Foster Wallace. That's the writer.
Nice.
But it was a commencement speech. There we go.
Yeah,
Hey.
it just comes back to you like that.
And he talked about us being in our default setting, how everything is about us. And I recommend whoever is listening to this to go on YouTube. You can get the book. It's translated in many different languages. It's such a table turner or maybe that's not the right analogy. It's the gems that you're going to find about awareness. You never know who's going through something. Maybe the person that is with their head down or not even their head down or
partying it up. Yeah, for sure.
Is sad, or someone who you believe is standoffish is just super shy, you know? Or you never know what a person is struggling with at home, and here you are saying things that are just triggering that person. So I think the best for me, talking about it was very important, because my family found out about my depression after the fact that they heard my story. My mom was devastated. She was literally devastated because she didn't know that I was going through a depression. And my dad as well, he didn't even know. I spent 8 months in one room. And while he was saying, hey, go to school, do this. This is when he came back, part of the story that I never told, but he came back to the States. My depression was such that I quit everything, school, work, anything. And knowing that he was coming back to the States, he said, okay, I'll just stop paying rent. It was just something that I cannot explain to people.
Yeah.
One aspect of it is you being sad. Yes, you can experience sadness. But what I was experiencing was something completely different. And I just quit life.
Man.
Period. So for him, in his eyes or his perception, I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to do anything. I was just a rebel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mind you, they find out later on. And I relied on different things. I think speaking about it with your family is something very important. And if you're not going to have that kind of support, you do have friends. There are other ways that there are hotlines that you can get on the phone. There are counselors in your schools. There's so many different ways to talk about what you're feeling, right? Another thing that truly helped me was getting out and having the right circle, people that held me accountable, that, hey, in the gym was that. I made friends. And that's going to be hard for some people,
right,
to make friends when they're feeling this way. But I am an extroverted kind of person. So I had people holding me accountable. Hey, why aren't you here? Being outside, meeting other people, finding ways in that kept my mind from thinking about my situation. So I became obsessed, and it was a healthy obsession with what I was doing, because the way I was feeling, how I was starting to look, literally the people that I started to meet, it ignited a different passion that I never thought I had.
How long into it did you realize that you had a passion, a love for what you were doing?
Oh, like 2 years. Because it was more about me than helping another person, because I needed to help me. And we all have, when we think that we're hopeless, we are our best therapists. When you know something is off, you have an ability to rise above. You have to tell yourself you have to rise above, because it's either you're going to remain in pain, or you're going to do the things that are going to get you out of pain. And yes, there will be growing pains, but it's better than staying where you are.
Yeah.
So these are pretty much the tools. I started eating better. I no longer eat like my culture. Not saying that I don't eat rice and beans and everything else, but I make it a lot healthier.
Right.
You know, I am just in
different
love with movement and learning. It keeps my mind occupied. I read a lot. I am very blessed for my circle. It's a healthy circle. I had to let go of all the toxic people.
That is important. That is key.
Extremely.
Surround
important.
yourself, with good people.
You start limping. If you know, like el dicho que dice, dime con quién andas, te dirás quién eres.
For sure.
O si Si andas con un cojo, al año cojeas.
I've never heard that one, but
Yeah.
I get it. You know what? Sometimes, they say, misery loves company, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you just have to know when to let it go, when to let them go, and it may be, tough at first. I mean, it's happened to me, where I have to let go of family or friends, people that I thought were going to be in my life forever. But you have to know what's best for you. Massy, I know I asked you what advice would you have for people going through it. What do you think we can do as someone to support a person who's going through, a tough time?
Be there for them. Get them out. Show them something different. Show them that there's hope, that there's light, that their perception, like chemically.
Yeah.
And this is not saying there are some people that will need in medication to get them started because it's a chemical imbalance, right? Be there for them. Listen to the cues. Actions speak louder than words. And sometimes when you see someone, oh, they're lazy, they don't want to do anything, they don't want to go out, they don't want to be there for them and just support them how they need it.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't have any interest in anything, not even living. Therefore, I was so lucky and so blessed that I had people around me that showed me different, because we don't hear, well, I don't know, but how far we are into this, but we don't hear a lot of, at least Blacks and Latinos, a lot of mentorship. We're not used to that.
No.
We're not used to someone saying, I'm going to grab your hand and I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to mentor you to be better. And we need more of that. There is that.
You're right.
And
You're
I
right.
do that myself. Like mentorship, I love that.
It's beautiful.
I'll take on someone who's starting. I've done it with family members. I've done it. It's so loving to just be kind to another human, to reach out, to give, more than you take.
I think that's also in our nature. We're all about familia, right?
Yeah.
So, here with my team and team members that have came and went, I think that's something that they would say is that we all treat each other like family. Yeah. And, just being a mentor is very similar to, being familia.
Yeah.
You bring someone and help them.
Not enabling people, because
Right.
you can give someone fish. You have to teach them how to fish, because that's what's going to make the difference. For example, you may have, oh, I need this. You giving that to them is just not doing anything.
Yeah.
They're not going to learn. Teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
Teach them how to become who they want to become, if it's within your means, of course.
Now, I see that you are a very hard worker, Massy. How do you, because I go through it myself, how do you avoid burnout?
I burn out all the time. The queen of burnouts. Hello.
Yeah.
I think I've had to understand, and this was very hard for me, because again, you said it, like it's in us. Like Latinos are different.
Yeah.
Latinos are like, yeah, come to my house. It's a little room, and it's like 12 of us in one bed, right? That's just who we are. And I had to understand this, that I'm not going to save everyone.
Yeah.
That, Luisa. Think about Luisa from Encanto. Mm-hmm. Right? The strong one.
Yeah.
We're going to rely on them. And that's the thing. Like, you have to be able to say no. And you have to be able to choose opportunities and not do it all. And I've learned, I've burnt out. And you don't want to experience that, because it creates. I had leaky gut, literally. And for those who do not know what leaky gut is, please research that. And you don't want that.
Yeah.
Because you have ulcers in your small intestine, and they just travel anything like bacteria. It travels through your blood, and it's a slippery slope.
Wow.
Right.
And when you first said leaky gut, I thought you were talking about, like figuratively.
Oh, no.
No.
No, literally.
Just for real, for real.
Yeah. So, and how am I avoiding burnouts now? I say no. Even if like, I just say no. I take on what I know I can handle.
Yeah.
And I just let go of the things that I cannot control.
That's such a skill, Massy, because it's tough. For me, it's tough. For me, it's tough to say no. And not just like for people or family, clients. It's always like, yes. You know, de vez en cuando, sometimes I'm like, okay, I can't do it, right? But I that's something that I have to work on. The burnout, the saying no. People always tell me that, like, oh man, you're always working, man. And I'm like, yeah, I had a 12, 15-hour day, blah, 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 back to back. Oh man, I have to get like you. I'm like, no, you don't want to do that, man. Like,
Yeah.
I know when to stop too. Like, if I'm going back to back days on like long days, I know that the following day I have to just chill, because just being, what we do is creative work most times, a lot of the times. And we can't be creative if we're burned out.
Yeah. Or if you're stressed out thinking about everything you have to do.
Yes. It almost paralyzes you at times, no?
Yes. I literally went a year of not even posting quality content because
Wow.
there's so many life transitions that have happened in the last 2.5 years for me. And you just feel like burned out, like you're not yourself, that you're just catering to everyone, that you're trying to do everything, that you're trying to do the most.
Yeah.
I said no. So for example, like, yes, I'm knowledgeable in a lot of things, but I'm not an expert. And I don't have a degree in these things. So when here I am giving people advice on the things that I know that are accurate and factual, but what have I done with my business now? I know what I serve, but I am going to hire a physical therapist to overlook my programming because that's what they studied.
Right.
If I need help in a strength and conditioning program, I do have those resources of my team. I've built a team of professionals where, it's not on me, because I don't have the time anymore to go and get a degree and continue, say, get a master's in physiology.
Right.
Who are we kidding here? But I know that I'm going to take that off my plate. Or I'm just going to look for help. I'm not going to try to do it all myself. And I am going to say no, even to family members.
Yeah.
And that's very important for people. It's the hardest thing that you're going to do, but you have to say no. Now, if I tell you about the fish, right?
Right.
If, for example, someone is coming and saying, hey, I want help, or, hey, can you help me up with this? Because they maybe see something, oh, she has this, or she's accomplished that. Oh, you have no idea how much I've had to work to accomplish these things, and how I just have bigger responsibilities. Nothing has changed. The responsibilities are now so heavy. And you're looking at me like you don't understand what I'm saying.
1,000%. Yeah,
exactly. So if I go and say, okay, I'm gonna teach you how to fish, and you say no, then you don't want it.
Massy, I teach people how to fish like on a weekly basis, and I have no problem with it, but like a lot of my peers in the industry are like, man, I like how you did this, or how can I do that? Or I want to, do what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, here you go. I literally will tell them how to fish. I'll teach them how to fish. Ask me how many people have started to fish. Casi nadie, nobody, because it's hard.
It's extremely hard.
They just see the polished Massy. They see your content. They see oh, I want to do what you're doing. But when it comes down to it, it's once they realize the work that goes behind it, that, you know, not everyone is up to put in the work like you, Massy.
Not at all. And I wake up. So for example, I've took notice in the past, like 3-4 years, because I've always been intrigued with how people think, right? And I took notice that you can give someone the best programming of exercise.
Yeah.
You can give them the best supplements, the best nutrition. Are they going to follow through?
Right.
Is their behavior that I have to change in order to have them follow through? So what am I doing? I'm back in school. By March, I'll have another badge on me that makes me different. I haven't stopped learning.
Amazing.
And it doesn't matter. I will continue to go seek, how can I be better in everything that I do? And it's just how I'm wired. But there's a lot of people that do not see what's behind. And what's happening right now, even with social media, and we were talking about this, things are changing. They're changing drastically, where now people's attentions are like what? Before it was like 6 seconds, now it's 3, now it's 2, like 1. Now things are just changing.
That's 0.5.
You know? So they don't know I have to wake up. Like, I'm a single mother. 2.5 years ago, and I'm still going through it.
Yeah.
A horrible divorce.
Man.
That they don't know I'm mom and dad financially for my daughter.
Man.
While they see something else. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. First and foremost, wake up 5:30 in the morning, get in my study, get ready before everyone gets up, because I have team members that are on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. So when I wake up at 5:30, they're just starting. And I'm here, okay, well, I have 2.5 hours before everyone wakes up. What can I do with those 2.5 hours? Preparing that team, because it's very important what we do. We have people's lives in our hands when we put out a program. It's not just exercise and nutrition. You're literally creating a programming that can hurt an individual or not hurt that individual. So this is where you have a responsibility to bring in people that know better and overlook at, you know, yes, I'm creating this program. Can I add some DNS in there? Can I add some PT? Am I not seeing certain things? So it takes a while to develop a program, right? Then my daughter, it's a routine. When I have her 50% of the time, but it's a routine. Yeah. And possibly I will have her 100% of the time moving on. So it's a routine that I have with her. And it is so hard to be a single mom. It's so hard to be a single working mom. And I just have one. But again, all the other businesses are like my babies too. Right. So I am my own CEO, my own manager, my mom and dad, because I consider myself mom and dad for her. Then the talent, then the social media, then what are you going to do with your career? Then that's what's been for the past 2.5 years. And I've made it seem like nothing is happening. Right. And everything is happening. Right. Every single day. So creating the content, I am so sore right now because I'm creating not only for YouTube, I'm creating for TikTok, I'm creating for Instagram. Like, when does it stop? Right.
Creating
it doesn't.
Creating long form and then making them into short form.
Oh my God. Then my daughter comes from, have to go pick her up from school. Then, you know, now that she's there from school, I am present. I cook for her breakfast, lunch, and dinner, homemade. I'm here like tearing. I'm tired, you know? And literally, and this is why I was telling you, I live under a rock.
I feel like, you know, that meme where it has the smiling face here, the mask, but like the back face or behind the mask are like crying, but the front mask is like smiling.
And those days
sometimes it's I'm sure it's like that.
I haven't taken a vacation in the past 5 years.
What is that?
What is a vacation?
¿Con qué se come?
What?
¿Con qué se come vacation?
What is a vacation? You know?
How do you pronounce that? Vacation?
Vacation?
No, never heard of it.
Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of work, and a lot of people may not be for it. But I said to myself, hey, I just love to stay busy. I love what I do. I am in the right space for the right reason. I love the stories we get, the group, the community. Like I love it.
Massy, for someone that you're talking about, like you're creating these workout regimens and providing, like, I don't know, like a meal plan, or helping them with their food intake. I'm assuming for someone who's not motivated, how do you get someone motivated? You yourself, how do you get someone motivated?
Well, most people, like it's about 20% of people who are ready to make a change. Usually you'll have people in the pre-contemplation stage. They're like, oh yeah, I want to, but I won't. There's something that is going to happen in your life in which it will demand for you to get healthier, period. Maybe you're in your 20s, you won't do it. You just have to do it. Like my mom, for example, this little lady, she lived chronically like stressed. And we talked about like the generational curse,
Yep.
like always scratching through it, always stress. My mom ended up with fibromyalgia, and that's something that she cannot change anymore. So at the end of the day, and I get real serious when we're talking about health and wellness, like this is not just me doing workout videos and showing you that I can do all these things. Like, no, for me, what I do is extremely important, because the programming is not only about, oh yeah, here's a workout and here's your nutrition. No, I'm gonna change your life.
Yeah.
And you are going to change, whether it's one step at a time. So there's no cookie cutting anything. I don't cookie cut anything. I'm not the person that is going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm the person that is going to tell you what you, like, literally the truth.
Yeah.
And the truth is, well, you're going to end up crashing if you don't make a change right now. And, you know, we humans, we think we are immortal until something happens to us. So for me, it was my brother. It was seeing my family, how I have brothers right now, and there's nothing that I can do. They're going to change whenever they want to change. My parents were just here. My dad ended up losing 25 pounds. He's been complaining of his feet for years now. Until now, he no longer complains of his feet because the inflammation, 3 months, in 3 months, literally, all inflammation gone. Increased lean muscle mass, looks better, feels better. And it was a process to change that behavior. And it's not easy to be healthy because of all the misinformation that you have out there.
What changed for your pops?
The fact that he was in pain. And the fact that he saw my mom. Like, there's nothing my mom can do. She's going to live like this in pain for the rest of her life. Pain is manageable, but the medication and the prescription medication that she actually takes, it's called pregabalin. It does the opposite. It worsens what she already has for a temporary relief. So when he says, yeah, fitness, there's an aesthetic component for it.
Yeah.
That we all, oh yeah, I want to look better. But at the end of the day, we want to feel better. When you try to feel better, you're going to look better.
Right.
As simple as that. And here in America, man, we are unhealthy. We're so unhealthy.
And more so in the inner city. The inner city youth. I mean, you know, I grew up in Southgate. I was sharing with you earlier. We don't have healthy eating places, right? Like eat healthy restaurants or anything like that. It's all fast food. Of course, there's grocery stores, but like the groceries, all the healthy stuff is expensive, like in the inner cities too. For people that live in the inner city, for, you know, the youth that is in the inner city, you know, what advice would you give to them? Because eating fast food is so easy, Massy. It's like in every corner.
It's America. They want to keep us unhealthy. I mean, medical field here, the industry of medicine is a very lucrative business, right? So, you know, our bodies are very resilient. So we can beat it up, beat it up, beat it up, beat it up for years until it's too late. We say living in poverty, what are you going to find? People just coping with their traumas with alcohol, or with unhealthy food, with unhealthy habits. And for me, it was my brother. And I looked for resources. I remember when oh my God, it's 11 years. And I'm telling you, it was hard. I put myself in the libraries. I couldn't afford the certifications, the money, I didn't have it. Let's go to the library. Because what's the difference between me learning this information and me, passing a test? Okay, right. That'll come. And after that, it was so easy because I already knew the information, But what can I say? There's so many different ways in which we can be healthy by buying things in bulk. And not necessarily you have to think like, buy spirulina, like, hey, oatmeal. That's not inexpensive, right? If you're going, like say Costco, there's some people that may not even be able to afford a Costco, right? So keeping it simple, being healthy doesn't come with this big words or this big superfoods, for example. Not a lot of people know that frozen fruits and vegetables are actually better than the produce that we're getting right now that it's considered fresh. And a lot of people don't know that, right? When they're freezing foods and any food that's healthy, of course, whole foods, like fruits and vegetables, is flash frozen. So it's not being transported from like Peru over here or Mexico and over here. It's not being in direct sunlight, right? It ripens when it needs to ripen. They freeze it and that's it. It doesn't touch light, it doesn't travel, it's not, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's actually healthier. So you do have, well, now we know something better. Yeah. You can buy frozen. It's going to be cheaper than buying fresh produce.
Lasts longer, of course.
Of course it lasts longer. You can buy in bulk. Yeah. You can keep it simple. Literally. Keep it simple. Think about it. The 3 major macronutrients, for example, carbs, fats, protein. Protein, eggs are cheap. Chicken would be cheap. There's so many different ways right now. Putting it together is where we fail, or actually not making a plan so that we can cook from home. And now we can meal prep together as a family, or, we can meal prep and then not have to skip a meal and now we're just going to go for whatever. But it's hard. And the best thing that I can tell anyone, inner city or not, be smart. Be smart how you spend your money. I remember, maybe this is going to be helpful for a lot of people, when this was probably like 8 years ago. Yeah. And I just started developing these programs, and some of the programming, I wanted people to have like bands. I remember the money that I was getting from the programming, I didn't spend it on the cars and the bags and the shoes and the this. I reinvested it into my business. I reinvested it in things that were going to, like, why do you need the latest J's, the Jordans, to keep up with the Joneses?
Right.
When you can save that money, get you a cheaper pair, who cares what people think?
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to start saving your money and accumulating that until you can buy yourself a car that can transport you places. You know what I mean? Or invest it in the things that you want to invest in that are real, that are going to serve a purpose. And I reinvest in things into my supplement company, into these bands. I'm not making this up. When I used to live in Marina del Rey with a bike, I would jump on my bike. I would seal the packages myself, put these packages, go to the mailbox, drop it at the mailbox, and come right back. That's what I used to do while my colleagues were buying $100,000 cars. That car depreciated in value. What didn't depreciate was my business. That now the supplement company is 5-6 years in the making and thriving because it's a good product, period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or now what I started doing the programming and like the bands, now I have more and serve more.
I love that.
But I reinvested in myself. Not what people wanted to see, oh, just to show people that I am doing it. No, I am going to do it. But it takes that period of sacrifice, of not caring what people think. If I do not care what people think of me, I do not care if they think whatever, like, oh, my programming is that way. You'll come back.
For sure.
You'll come back because you're going to see the truth is there.
I'm smiling because you just share some crazy facts and the reality of things. I mean, you said in the last 2 minutes, there's so much realness in what you said. Sacrifice is something that a very small amount of people are willing to do. Sacrifice is key. The fact that you would get on your bike and do all these things, and a lot of people don't know. I mean, I've been driving this car I for a long time that isn't a luxury car, Massy, and I've in that money that could have gone to a luxury car, I've invested it in the media company. And before I could afford, or when there was a moment when I first started my career in radio, and I was in that new money phase, right? And I started spending money on sneaker. I started spending money like a lo menso, as my mom would say, and I spent like $800 on a pair of shoes once, resale, and it was at that point where I was like, okay, that's just dumb. And eventually I just started investing. Granted, it takes a while, we're all young. We don't make the best in with our money at times. But today that's all I do, Massy. Just put the money back into the business. Of course, we have some fun and we enjoy life, and we're blessed now at this point of my life. But that sacrifice is so real. Many people want the success, but a very small amount are willing to give something up. Wake up at 5 a.m. Maybe sleep a little less at times. Work a full-time job and then get home and then work on your passion project that eventually can become your full-time job. People just, want to get home and sleep, and that's fine. But there has to be sacrifice in order for you to push to the next level in your life. And it seems like when I keep hearing about, the different phases in your life, Massy, it's inspiring, it's motivating for me, and at the same time I can relate. I just love, Mando and Friends because it's my show.
Hey. Hey.
But I love Mando and Friends because it's so real, and it kind of takes the curtain, the drapes down from what we are used to seeing on social media, which is like the pressure to be picture perfect, right? I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes I try to be as honest as I could and share. Hey, I posted something not that long ago. When I was 20 years old, I was looking at a photo of myself at 20, and I cried because I thought, man, I'm so ugly. And now that I think about it, it's funny, but at that point it was real. And I share those things, but at the same time, I don't want to share those things because I'm scared of being judged, and scared of what are people gonna say, what are clients gonna say, or but it comes to a point where people like you and I have to be transparent and tell our stories, because we are in that position to inspire, to motivate, to make a change. You know, for someone that is looking at you right now and sharing your story of sacrifice and determination and the passion and just going for it. Based on what I see on your page, Massy, you make everything look so easy. And and that's just how amazing you are. At the top of the show, I should have introduced you as Superwoman. That's what I should have done.
I can tell you this. I work, and here's the thing. People relate what you do with an outcome, right? Like, I'm a beast, period. I take everything, athletically speaking, I'm a beast. I work so hard. People don't get to see that because there's no point of me, and I've analyzed this. Women, mostly, they don't want to think, oh, or people just period. They don't want to think, oh, I have to do that? Absolutely not. It scares them from actually making a change. So I've shifted certain things where you're going to see the beast mode from time to time, but I'm going to give you something that you can do.
Right.
Because again, how many times you're going to see me being great? It's not about me. It's about those who I'm touching. But they don't get to see what I do in order to speak through a whole 45-minute workout on camera or wherever I am. And while they're huffing and puffing, I'm here just talking, just going through the movements, right?
Right.
So, and it just goes, just like I said, everything that I do, I just try, how can I level up? There's a different level. And that was unlocked by all the things that I learned through a lifestyle change. People forget, I'm Dominican. We have a very poor diet. I was supposed to fail.
Right.
I was supposed to be a statistic, period. What I had to do in order to get to this point, I'm like, I can do anything. I'm like, put me through the fire. I've been through the fire. I know that I'm going to get at it. Like, I'm going to get through. This is just, there's always a lesson. And it's going to be, I'm just going to get better and better and better. So it's, I don't know. I really hope that whatever intentionally, what I put out there, whether Instagram or any social media platform allows it for people to reach or not reach, you know how weird things are getting with the reach and the algorithms and whatever.
Yeah.
I really hope that people can resonate with it, and that is just helping in any way. And hopefully my life story can motivate people. I'm not going to stop. I really love what I do. And there's plenty of things that I do and plenty of ways that I can go about it. And sometimes you are not born with a talent. Sometimes you have to work to develop that talent.
That is so freaking important to know. A lot of people think that Massy is just gifted. Mando is just gifted.
God, no.
We were born to do this. No.
What do you have to learn?
Massy, I grew up a very shy, introverted kid. I did radio for 15 plus years in television as a host, as a correspondent, as a producer, directing. Today, I own my own media company. We pitch to brands on a daily basis. We do interviews, on a daily basis. And I'm still this like shy, introverted kid deep down, but I learned how to communicate. I learned how to interview. I learned how to be in front of a camera, how to be behind a microphone. I learned that. I was far from this.
I love it.
I have no family in the industry.
Me neither.
No friends that I knew, right, that can get me in. my mom and dad come from a small town in Mexico. When I told them that I wanted to be in entertainment, I wanted to be on TV, I wanted to be on the radio.
And like, mijo, estás loco. Mijo, estás loco.
Wait, do you know my mom? Yeah. And you said earlier, you said your mom didn't support you because she wasn't physically, by your side.
That support. No. Let me rephrase that, because she's very hurt. My mom is very hurt. She's like, I've always been there for you. How come you didn't tell me this? I've just been proud. I just didn't want anyone to help me, anyone to know, anyone. It was just too proud.
Yeah.
And when I said, oh no, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to prove to all of you guys that I'm going to make it. And making it, I don't know, making it meant I'm going to learn the culture, white picket fence, home, whatever they paint in America here, right? That's what I said. My father thought I was crazy. My father said, go back to school. What do you think? You're going to just work at a gym all your life? I said, no, I'm going to do what I'm passionate about. I'm going to do what sets my soul on fire, because I'm not going to be unhappy. And that's the key.
Yep.
If you're doing something that you love and you just work on your craft and being the best, you're going to do great. And learning all these things. I've said yes to opportunities, not knowing how I was going to, okay, I'll learn it. Let's go. I was reading and doing all my material, remembering lines. And then I did a job just recently, and they told me, what are you talking about? You learn all these things? No, it was for Almond Board. I did something for Almond Board of California. And that's when I knew that even the best of the best were reading of a teleprompter. Yeah. And I was already preparing myself for what? I was learning lines and remembering these things. And Jesus, people, they need to believe in themselves, that they can learn something, that they can learn to be great. You have to be able to make the mistakes, fail. That's how you learn. Yep. Anyone who doesn't make mistakes is someone who just have done all the mistakes.
I just tweeted yesterday, if you show up, you can't fail. Let's say let's say you go and play basketball and your team loses. That doesn't make you a failure. You learned while you were on that court, on that field. That's how life is. If you show up, you're not failing.
Yeah. I mean, you're learning. Every lesson, every story gives you a lesson for you to learn. Like even that play, okay, what went wrong? Right. And that's how we're going to get better next time. I love sports. I was introduced to sports later on, and I've trained with some amazing, that's how I turned. I went from like bodybuilding to athletic training, and I perform. I was going to say, like, even at my age, I am thriving. Your 30s are like your 20s. What are you talking about? No, I'm thriving.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Come on.
Go ahead, Massy.
Yes. I mean, when you're in your 20s, you look at people in their 30s and you're like, they're so old. Like, no, I'm just starting to live. Yeah. We're just getting started here. Yeah.
It's a different time. I think years back, I look at pictures. I talked to Fred and Marvin about this. You look at pictures that of our parents and they at our age, I'm like, wow, they look so old, but I just think it's different. Like, we're cool. We got some swag.
Of course we do. Hey. I don't know, but
and I think their life, they say han vivido una vida más dura, right? Ellos, I think they had it tougher in certain ways, and I think that ages someone a little more.
Stress ages you.
Stress, yes, definitely ages. Now, Massy, I just want to thank you for coming by here today.
No, thank you for having me. We
you're-
touch on some awesome things.
A lot, a lot. And you're such an amazing role model
Thank you.
for our gente, for, boys and girls, youth, adults, everywhere, people everywhere. And I think it's a beautiful thing what you're doing. I think it's an amazing thing. And again, I thank you for coming on Mando and Friends and sharing your amazing, inspiring story of resilience, of strength, of passion, of hard work. And man, Massy, before you go, I have a quick rapid fire with Massy Arias. You ready to go?
Yes.
Favorite Spanish word?
Oh my God. Vaina.
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 Salsa or merengue?
Merengue.
Favorite piece of tech that you use?
My iPhone.
Your iPhone? Okay. Favorite Latino food dish?
Sancocho.
Sancocho. I haven't had a sancocho in a long time.
I can make you some.
Fire. Do you do like a healthy version? Like, can you do?
There's no healthy version of sancocho. If you're gonna have sancocho, just have
gotta do it
sancocho.
right. Okay.
Yes, you have to do it right.
Okay.
There are healthier versions, but I mean,
Like
you are what you do every day, not what you do once in a while.
Hey, I like
So
that.
have your sancocho the right way.
Best singer of all time.
Oh my God, how are you gonna put me in the spot like that? Latino?
No, it could be any genre.
Best
any
singer? How do you
Best
classify
singer. Your favorite singer
My favorite singer
of all time.
of all time?
Massy, I've asked you so many questions, and this one's the one
Oh
that's,
my God!
that
Wait a
stumps
second. Is there a thing of not having a favorite singer?
you. Sure. You'll be our first, but we'll accept it. Who do you listen to the most?
I listen to a lot of things.
Yeah?
I listen to everything. And that's why.
It's tough.
It's just tough.
Well, then you're going to love my next question. Greatest rapper of all time?
Define greatest rapper.
Your favorite
Jay-Z.
rapper. Jay. Ho.
Yes.
You want to go back to the best singer, favorite singer?
It's definitely not him. Best favorite singer.
First one to come to mind.
I said all of them. I like Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars. He's amazing. He's very
Bruno
talented.
Mars.
I think he's our Michael Jackson.
I like him.
Of our
I
generation.
like Usher.
Usher's amazing.
I like Neo. I like his creativeness with his writing. I like a lot of people for a lot like different things.
That's perfect. I'll take all three.
Yeah. Michael Jackson.
MJ was the best. Lastly, a nickname that no one really knows about.
Mattel.
Mattel.
For me?
Yes.
Mattel.
Mattel. Who calls you Mattel?
That's my dad. Maciel Mattel.
Mattel.
So it's not Massy, it's Maciel. So Mattel, I used to like the toy
Wait,
company.
Mattel is your pops, or is that what they call you?
Call me
They call you Mattel.
Mattel
Yes, the toy brand.
Yeah.
Mattel.
because it sounded like Maciel.
Oh, that's cute.
And I used to be obsessed with like Mattel products.
They make Barbies, no?
They make everything. Make a lot of things.
Mattel, thank you so much for coming by. Massy Arias.
Thank you.
You're
Mando.
amazing.
Thank you. You are amazing. I think we're all amazing in our own different ways.
For a second, I felt very special, but then you just kind of
Oh, I'm sorry. You're amazing.
Then you generalized it, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm not that special.
You are amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
And I appreciate you coming. Thank you, Massy.
No, thank you.
And thank you so much for watching Mando and Friends presented by Verizon.